Hi, everyone. I see the first people already coming in. Nice to see you all so motivated on a Wednesday. Since today, we want to cover a lot of topics, and we want to go really in depth with what we want to show you. Let's keep a bit on the small talk today, I think. And I would actually love to start the poll while the people are coming in, so you can just get started. Basically, I just want to know if you're already combining Paid UA and ASO, since this is today's topic. And also, if you're doing Paid UA, on what kind of channels you are displaying the ads, basically. While you're all doing the poll, quick, let's say, rules from today's webinar. If you have questions, feel free to write them in the Q&A section. We will try to answer them live. If this is not possible, because we have a lot we want to cover, we will answer all these questions in the follow-up email. And yes, the recording will also be in the follow-up email. No worries. So everything will be included there. So cool that so many already answering the poll. Thank you, guys. Actually, over 60% are already doing Paid UA and ASO. That's awesome. While I wait a bit longer, Elena, could you show the agenda of today, please?
Of course.
Thanks. Perfect. So today's agenda is all about how to grow your mobile app and your mobile business, basically. So how can we combine ASO and Paid UA for maximized results? How we can analyze those efforts? And finally, how we can optimize the strategy and grow the most possible. Great. Let's see. Seems like the people are stopped mostly with the poll. Great. Then I will stop it right now. Let me quickly show you. So pretty cool results. Great, guys, that you're so dedicated already in Paid UA. Oh, I'm just screenshotting it for my interest. Great. Then I would like to give the word over now to today's hosts, which are Elena and Thomas. And please, guys, introduce yourselves and let us know everything we need to know about the topic.
Thomas, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Elena. I didn't want to be the first one, you know. No. Yeah. Hey guys, my name is Thomas. I'm one of the founders of AppRadar and the managing director of AppRadar. I'm really happy to be here today in this webinar together with you awesome guys, where we're going to talk about a real cool topic, how we can combine paid user acquisition as well as with App Store optimization for the maximum growth and for the best results. And yeah, I'm really looking forward for this session. Elena, back to you.
Thank you, Thomas, and thank you, Rebecca, also for the intro. I'm also super excited to have you here today, guys. A few of you might know me already. I'm Elena, here from AppRadar, and I would actually like to offer you today as a special thank you for being here with us today in our webinar to all of our participants, and to help you really even go further with optimizing your user acquisition efforts. I would like to offer you a one-on-one session with me about your individual user acquisition efforts. So just reach out to me via email after the webinar, and I would be super happy to organize a call with you and discuss that further. Rebecca, if you could share my email address in the chat, and we have it also then in the end once more. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. All right. Yeah, I'd like to kick off today's session with showing you the power of ASO and paid user acquisition when done combined. Let's walk through some reasons why this should be seen as one combined unit rather than be looked at in silos, which unfortunately a lot of people still do, but I will show you today why it is super important. And what I also really liked when I saw the results of the poll, that actually a lot of you guys do that already in a combined way. Good. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I would say if you really want to maintain a level of high quality users across channels, so now really talking about no matter from which channel you're driving the traffic to your app, let it be combined or organic outside of the store activities, the core should always be to have a solid App Store optimization foundation. So a really well optimized store listing. And to visualize that a bit more, I put here that graphic, which should basically, when we think now from a point of view, like the user journey, how it would be. No matter, of course, there are a lot of different channels and how we can drive traffic to our app and how we can achieve more and more downloads. Let it be that we are running social traffic, Facebook, TikTok campaign, influencer campaign. The ultimate goal should always be that we get them to download the app and to get them into our store listing. And that's exactly the point where I would always recommend to start off with App Store optimization first, so that when that user, from no matter where he's coming from, he lands in your store listing, you got them already there, but now there is the moment to convince him with awesome creatives, well optimized, and also the text in a way that is well optimized from a conversion rate level, but of course also that you already have like a bit of a good a solid organic performance that will also enhance then every other UA channel that you will be using. So really seeing that as the starting point of no matter which paid UA activity you're doing, you will thank it later. Okay, and I mean, then we talk now about here seeing it really on optimization, why you should do it in a combined way. And when talking about combining those two, so organic and paid user acquisition, here when we talk now about the analysis part, what I would like to highlight and what I see a lot of times is when we look only at the paid CPI and not combining it with the organic results, so not monitoring at the same time how the organic installs, the organic share of install is evolving, I would call it as a bit dangerous. And to show you guys why I think this is the case, we prepared here two examples. On the one hand, when we say now that you are running paid user acquisition campaign and we look now at the cost per install. When we achieve now here, let's say we have as an example in situation 1, what I wrote down here, a good looking cost per install of €1.20. But here we are looking really only at the paid cost per install. So 100% of our installs are paid. We would have here then an effective cost per install of exactly those €1.20. All right, but when we would look now, let's say we have another example where at the first side, if you're only looking at the paid installs, it would be compared to the situation 1, a bad looking CPI, I would call it. I mean, compared to the €1.20, we would have in situation 2 a CPI of €2.20 when looking only at the paid results. But here comes the point. In that case, let's say there are only 30% of installs are coming from paid, and if the 70 other percent are coming from organic traffic, and if we calculate it through then in a way that I do total spend that I had were divided by the total installs, I would get an effective cost per install of 66 cents, which shows a setup. Basically, when looking at the data in a combined way, the setup would be almost twice as efficient. And that's also what I would like to recommend you guys out of that is when you measure the success, really try to look at it on a way that you combine both areas, organic and paid, and measure the success based on the effective cost per install. And that should really help you to drive also decisions that really help you to foster or drive further your mobile growth. And then of course the topic, I mean, what is another advantage of it when doing it combined is that paid user acquisition can obviously lead to more organic installs. But why is that like that, and why should you also closely measure it? Is that I mean, if we think of it like paid user acquisition obviously brings new attention to your app store listing, which results then in more installs in total. And it's the visibility loop and the growth loop starts basically there. The more installs your app generates, the higher also your app will be ranked in the app stores. This then, followed by that, you're ranking higher, which will then also lead to increased visibility within the stores, basically within the search results, but also within the browse sections. So ultimately, if you're getting more downloads, usually you will also climb up the category rankings and achieve an overall higher visibility. And more users will also land in your organic store listing and download your app. And the same, I mean, that's always a bit the thing talking here really about the so-called organic uplift. So when you're looking then at the results, you will usually also see when combining average daily installs, you had like a paid user acquisition campaign running, and afterwards you would look at the organic share. Usually that drives then also up and helps to further grow your organic share of installs. Well, and the growth loop continues. So I would say in that way, what are you waiting for? But before I give over the stage to Thomas, where he will now really drive into the hands-on way of doing your framework in that sense on how you can really do it hands-on. I would give like a quick intro, but on a topic that also Thomas will later on touch. A single, I would call it watch out when we're talking about keyword cannibalization. So I also prepared here, let's put it that way. If you're looking, of course, always super important to see both of the worlds as one combined unit. But also when monitoring it too closely, there is a slight risk also of cannibalizing keywords. What do I mean by that is basically situation one would be, I bid on keywords that the app already ranks very high organically. So let's say you're already ranking organically, appearing in the search results on position 1. So let's imagine it again from a user perspective. That would mean when the user searches in the store, he will see at the one hand your organic search result, and above he will also see the App Store ad directly above your organic result, which means now there is a situation. It might be that the user clicks now at the ad instead of the organic results they would have chosen otherwise. So basically you would have had the user organically as well. And the other situation would also be going into the direction of brand name. So really when bidding for top brand names, might be similar situation. We also might end up paying here for a user who would have anyways downloaded the app organically, so for free, without any paid user acquisition efforts in the background. So conclusion out of it, make sure to also here taking care of that. And when bidding on keywords, that on the one hand, trying to avoid a bit the bidding on keywords that you already rank organically high, and also for your top brand keywords to really try to avoid the risk of cannibalization. Okay, cool. I would hand over now to Thomas to start about the framework for growth.
Thank you very much, Elena, for this introduction. A really cool start in the topic already with a lot of insights. Now, guys, what I'm going to show you is a really step-by-step guide that can help you combining the power of App Store optimization with the power of paid user acquisition. So let's jump right into it. What we prepared here is a 5-step manual for you, or a guide for you. We will be going through each of these steps in more detail now during this webinar. And the goal already, I can already tell you the goal, so to say, out of this, which is that this framework really combines organic downloads with paid downloads, and also looking at your in-app store conversion rate optimization that enables you to get a constant stream of new users while hitting your performance targets. So let's check it out in more detail what that means. The first step is, like Elena already mentioned, App Store optimization. Because here, once again, no matter which kind of marketing activity you do, people will land at your App Store page, and this one has to convert. So therefore, it is also really the first touch point that you have in your strategy, what you should optimize. The goal is you want to become visible in app stores, and you want to convince users to install your app. How can we do that? Well, first of all, we should start by building up a keyword backlog for your app or for your mobile game category. This is very important that you really think of what are the keywords out there that people are searching for when they're trying to find an app like mine. What you can obviously do is you can use an app store optimization tool like AppRadar that can help you exactly with that task. And you can also spy a little bit on your competitors to also try to find out for which keywords they are optimizing for. So step number 1, building up this keyword backlog. After that, what you want to do is you want to identify focus keywords within this big keyword backlog that you built up. How do you do this? First of all, you have to look at the search volume of those keywords that you have been researching, because obviously you want to optimize for keywords what people are really searching for within the App Store. Doesn't make any sense that you optimize for keywords that nobody's searching for, right? So therefore, look for those keywords, and ideally, those keywords are also the ones that describe your app or your game in the best possible way, so that there is the relevancy when people are searching for a specific keyword, they find your app and they think, that's exactly what I was looking for. And tip number 3 on the topic of focus keywords, especially in the beginning when you're launching a new app to the App Store, it is important that you're not going for the too competitive keywords right from the beginning. We have seen it so often, a new dating app launches, they're optimizing for dating and they're wondering why am I not found for dating, one of the most competitive keywords within the App Store. Long story short, this simply doesn't work. So you have to look for not too competitive keywords, especially in the beginning. What you can obviously do when your app is already live within the App Store, you can check for which keywords you're already ranking for, ideally in a top 30 position, with the goal to pushing them into a top 10 position. When talking about keyword optimization, when talking about App Store optimization, very important, always set up keyword ranking monitoring to track your keywords before and after changes, so you can really analyze your App Store optimization updates for the maximum impact. What we have shown here on the screen is how you can also set up keyword tracking within AppRadar, and where you can also obviously cluster specific keywords with so-called tags. As you can see here, we have brand keywords, we have competitor keywords, and we have generic / use case keywords. This can be very helpful to really cluster your keywords and to optimize each of these buckets separately. When talking about keyword optimization, it is one thing to research those keywords, the second thing to track those keywords, but it is also very important that you also have to update your store listing with those new keywords that you want to optimize for. Otherwise, you will not start ranking for those keywords. With the help of our store listing editor, you can do this very easy and efficiently, where you can really research those keywords, bring it into your store listing and export it directly from AppRadar to the app stores, which makes this process a closed loop and will make it very easy for you to do this process. So number 2 on this journey, step number 2 on this journey. So what we did is we already optimized our first version of our App Store listing. We brought in interesting keywords, and now it is time to accelerate insights gathering, because we could now wait and until the organic train picks up, and maybe in a couple of months we would be also getting a lot of organic traffic. But when talking about combining App Store optimization and paid user acquisition, one of the things that we want to do is we want to accelerate things. So therefore, we want to accelerate insights gathering. What you want to do with the help of running paid user acquisition campaigns is you want to identify messages as well as keywords, as well as creatives that support your growth and drive downloads. So how do you do that? We recommend to start advertising on native channels. So this should be Apple search ads and Google app campaigns in the beginning, and where you should also explore its individual impact. Learn which keywords and messages work the best for you. What I mean by that is you can, when you look at the sentence, this sentence can be written in a different style. It can be on the one hand side emotional, it can be fact-oriented, it can be motivational. So there are different ways how you can do this and how you can set this up. And it is about running those tests to find out what is working the best for your specific target audience out there. What you can also do, obviously, as an expert tip here, when you're already advanced in this topic, you can also set up custom product pages that will help you to also further analyze exactly these topics and identify which kind of specific keywords, but also which creatives are working the best. When talking about optimizing those channels, and when we look, for example, at Apple search ads, as well as Google app campaigns combined, you should try to obviously always look at for which channel is the main, so to say, responsibility. And when we talk about Apple search ads, we're talking about keyword in-stores. So this means you can research keywords that you want to rank for and you run ads on those specific keywords, which means that this should be also your source of truth for identifying the best keywords for your app out there. On the other hand side, for Google App campaigns, they can be very creative driven. So there you can upload different images, you can upload different videos, and so on and so forth. So therefore, it is more important that you try to identify which kind of creatives, once again, and we will be coming soon again also to these different clusters, correlate the best with your target audience. We brought in some examples. For example, as we can see here, Chatterbug, which is a language learning app. By looking at those ads are running on different networks out there. But when you look at those, you can already start identifying some specific patterns that combines them. And in this case, if you look only at the people on the images here, you will see all of them are laughing, which is something very emotional, which should also, like motivate people when they see it. Oh, okay, they are having fun learning new languages. So that's cool. I want to try it out. So that is kind of the subtle message that those images are transporting. As well as when you look at the emojis, as well as when you look at the sentence, learn more than a language, which is something, a big, bold statement, I would even call it, which is very emotional and which should really get you going. On the other hand side, we also have other options, what you can do when setting up ads. So for example, as we can see on the left-hand side, this is a German app which rewards you for using the app. So this is something, okay, I mean, why not? 15 euros, that sounds not too bad of a deal if I, like download the app and I use it. So to say, this is kind of a reward-driven advertisement for this ad. On the other hand side, what we can see with Headspace, they're very big in the topic of collaborations. In this case, they're now working together with John Legend to have their own kind of sleep relaxation meditation going on, but they also did a collaboration with Netflix in the past. And on the right-hand side, what we can also see is an example of WhatsApp, which is very fact-based, and where you can see send private, stores private, stays private. So very fact-based and very much this topic of privacy in the center of their messaging. What you can also do, as already mentioned as an expert tip, is you can also set up custom product pages. So in this example here, what you can see is that you can set up for different keywords, also different landing pages, so to say, directly within the App Store. The app that we see in this example is always the same, but the search requests are different. And based on those search requests, also the images, the screenshots are different. So for example, I'm looking for biking, then I see a preview video that goes into the topic of bike trails. I'm looking for trails or backcountry trails, then I'm seeing a video that goes exactly into that direction. Or I'm looking for climbing, then I see a video of rock climbing. The background or the reason for this is really that they want to optimize their specific keywords with the specific intent that the user has in that moment, and they want to present him the best possible information, in this case, to convince them that the user can find exactly what he's looking for within this app. Once we are running those paid user acquisition campaigns, and obviously also our App Store listing is optimized in the first run, it is time to find overlapping strengths as well as weaknesses from both strategies. So from both user acquisition strategies, on the one hand side, the organic, on the other hand side, the paid user acquisition. What you should do here is compare your channels and identify winning keyword as well as messaging strategies. How can you do that? So first of all, you can find out for which keywords is your store listing ranking well. In the background, there are different algorithms happening within the App Store, but I would high level sum them up as the App Store tries to also make the apps rank in the best positions who are best matching a specific keyword. So in other words, if you're ranking really good for a keyword, then you're already probably converting very well for this keyword, which can give you good feedback on those keywords. Additionally, when you're running Apple search ads, you can obviously also see which keywords bring you, on the one hand side, clicks to your App Store listing, but you can also see which keywords bring you also in stores, which is also very important insights that you can gather. And when running Google App campaigns, very obviously you also need to set up text. I would say convincing text to bring people to download your app. You can also check out what is working the best and what is really a message that gets the people out there going, that they think for them, okay, I need to click on this app, I want to download this app and I want to use it. On the other hand side, you can obviously also analyze which creatives bring in the most clicks and in-stores when you run Google App campaigns. These learnings that you can gather from there, you can also bring over to your App Store screenshots once you find out what is working the best. Also here, once again, which messages, which features, what makes your app, what makes your game unique, what is driving the people out there to care about what you're doing. Bring this into your screenshots. As well as what you can also do, if you haven't done it yet, you can create a preview video with your best performing creatives, because once again, on the paid user acquisition channel, you get easy and fast insights what is working very well. So take this over and bring it into your App Store listing. And one topic that Elena already mentioned previously, especially when talking about keyword optimization, is the topic of cannibalization of own brand keywords within Apple search ads. I would say, as a rule of thumb, you should obviously try to be the #1 there, but you should really watch out that not most of your budget is going into your brand keywords, because you want to find out what outside of your brand is working. And what you can also do when running, especially on your campaigns on different channels out there, you should also try to somehow visually analyze those different campaigns. As we can see here in this example, now with 3 different ad networks, Facebook, Google Ads, and Apple Search, where we see the different CPI per network, as well as how many in-stores were brought in per network. This gives you a really good overview of how you can also combine those channels, because then you will also find out where do you get a bigger amount, but maybe also the quality might not be that good of the traffic that you're acquiring. But on the other hand side, you can also analyze where do you get the best cost per in-store, but maybe also really good users at the end of the day as well. And one thing that you can do, obviously, is you should really try to measure this impact between your paid and your organic efforts. As we can see here on the left-hand side, we have brought up an example of a pre-update and after an update. So this means when you do App Store optimization, as well as as you can see with the dark purple bar, you're also ramping up your paid user acquisition budget, in this case now by 13%. What you really want to aim for is also that you see this organic uplift in the organic in-stores, what we can see here in this example, which is 22%. One pro tip or one thing that we also often see is how can I really find out now, especially when looking at search traffic from an iOS app, how much traffic is really organic and how much is through to running keyword campaigns on Apple search ads. You can see on the right-hand side, there's an easy way how to calculate this and to really calculate out your organic in-stores coming through search and really break them out from the in-stores that you're getting through Apple search ads. Once you are more in this process, and once this kind of starts picking up, once you're also starting to spend more budget, it is very important that you take those learnings from your ads and also integrate them over once again into your App Store optimization strategy. Why is this so important? Because for App Store optimization, especially for the algorithms within the App Store search, the amount of downloads an app is getting is one of the most important ranking factors. So this means if you're getting a lot of downloads, you will also be able to rank for more competitive keywords. Now, thinking back on the dating keyword like we had in the previous starting point, if you have a new app, forget it. But if your app has already hundreds or maybe thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands downloads a month, then this game can change. And then you will also have chances to rank on dating, maybe not in a top position, but dating plus a combination with another keyword could work out very well already. So therefore, it is important that you transfer your learnings from your ads over to your App Store listing. So this means you should adjust your keywords as well as your messages, that you find where you analyze what was working the best in your ads, what drove clicks as well as conversions. as well as you should adjust your creatives in ads and in your App Store listing, which means your screenshot, your preview video, banner graphics, and so on and so forth, that this also is one combined package that in itself makes a lot of sense. What you can also do is the push rankings for relevant keywords by changing the keyword density, but also here don't make it too dramatically. If you're going into the direction of keyword spamming, Google will not be very happy and you will not rank on those keywords anymore. So therefore it is very important that you also find here the good balance, as well as on the Apple App Store, you can take those relevant keywords and you can bring them higher in your App Store listing, which means bring the most important keywords where I know there's a lot of traffic and now you have a chance to rank for those keywords into your app title. Obviously, when running paid user acquisition campaigns, scale the best performing campaigns as well as channels and grow further. And like Elena already mentioned, don't only look at the paid user acquisition CPI, that is really only half of the picture. Look at the efficient CPI, which combines organic as well as paid UA. And so therefore you can really see the big picture and optimize accordingly. Then at the end, obviously, you should analyze your results, evaluate your key results, and build the basis for the next iteration. How you should do this is you should discuss your findings in either weekly or monthly growth meetings together with your team. Here it is really important that you combine the different people from the different departments, depending on how your company is set up. But it can be that you have an own department with what is doing App Store optimization, or an own manager who is doing App Store optimization. And then you have somebody else doing user acquisition. Bring those together, make them talk to each other, because then they can share their learnings with each other as well as their findings. And then you have a really good base to discuss further optimization opportunities. Analyze and adjust your strategy based on the combined data out of those two user acquisition channels. I would say high level, do more of what is working good and do less of what is working not. It's quite easy like that. When something is not working, you can obviously also try to analyze why it is not working. And it is also very important when talking about this topic, analyzing data, that you should come up with a standardized reporting structure that keeps the same from month to month or from week to week, so you can compare also the results, which will give you a good and solid base to further optimize your results or your campaigns. As we can see here, for example, how this could look like, a combination on the right-hand side, or a keyword distribution chart within AppRadar, where we were running paid user acquisition campaigns and we're also combining it with App Store optimization updates, always with update number 1 as well as with update number 2, trying to be more, optimize for more competitive keywords, which we were able to also rank for because we were running paid user acquisition campaigns. And at the same time, we were able to grow the installs by 150% within only 3 months, as well as nearly double the revenue, which I don't have to tell you, our client was very happy about this result. Good. And last but not least, when talking about the framework, it is also very important to mention that this framework also repeats itself. How does it repeat itself? Well, quite easily spoken, by doing the exact same strategy for different countries or different markets, different languages out there, because this is also something very important that you should try to keep with on market, especially if you have limited budget at the beginning. Don't spend it everywhere. You should really try to focus. And once you have something up and running, you can expand, you can scale up, as well as you can also bring in other paid user acquisition channels once you have a winning strategy going and you want to get simply more people know about your app.
Cool. Thank you guys for all the information, and also thank every one of you who sent so many questions. We managed to answer most of them live. I will promise to answer the missing 4 ones in the follow-up email. Don't worry, I've written everything down. We will get back to you. In the meantime, or better for now, since this was so much information and some of you might not have the resources, we have also an in-house app marketing agency that would gladly help you with the process of ASO and ASO, or let's say Paid UA in general. yeah, just reach out to AppRadar. And also for the next slide, in general, please, next slide.
Sorry, it did not.
Thanks.
Here we go.
Stay in touch, of course. You can reach out to me if you have any more questions. And of course, quick reminder for the one-on-one sessions with Elena for the UA. We're always happy to chat with you guys about app marketing in general. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you next month for the next webinar. Bye, guys.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.